Where are you from?
Jamaica.
Jamaica? Originally, what part of Jamaica?
Kingston.
Okay. And what was it like growing up in Kingston versus where do you live now in the city? You live in Brooklyn, New York, or?
But that's still the same thing, the same runnings, you know, city life. You know what comes with it. People.
Yeah. And what do you like to do? Like
I like
fun
cooking.
activities?
I like playing sports, you know. Chillax, simple shits, you know what I mean? Some music. How about you?
I like to, okay, hey, look, it's not about me, but I like to do, I do eyelash extensions though, and I do, and this is part of it, and I also like receptionist, like concierge, I feel like, so yeah, that's like what I do for like my time, so, but yeah, so like, what would you say the sense of community is like
My sense of community
in Kingston, Jamaica versus
here.
yeah, because I have family that's from, not Jamaica, but from St. Vincent, so I know like it's different, the Caribbean.
It's the community. But I say, I see no real difference really. It's just people, times change, you know what I mean? Like, you know, say like 10 years back.
You've been here for 10 years.
No, I'm saying like, no, I say like times change,
Yeah,
I'm only 23,
you're
but when
23?
I was 10 years old, it was a whole different running from when I'm 20, just in terms of people, you know what I mean, interaction and them shit change.
That's a fact. Things, maybe those are things, but I'm just 21. I will say it definitely, that has changed. Like versus like when you grow older in America and like growing up in the city, like the experiences as a black person has changed over some time. But I feel like you're a person to person, like color is second. So this is just like so bring awareness to the fact that like black people are people too. Because there's some people who still are like so subconsciously racist, and it's like, you know what I mean. And I feel like we're distracted by it because of social media and all the other things that seem to go on in the media that clouds like the reality of what's still going on today. So yeah, but is there anything that you would do, like any kind of change that you would want to see in the community, and how do you feel like you would be able to contribute to that change to be able to take place?
Change. A lot of things could be changed, yeah. But I don't know what to say right now. Just a go through it, you know. Straight up. What about you? You give me some answers.
Okay, so moving on. So, all right, so you're Vanessa.
Yep.
From Ohio.
Yep.
You got here to the city in
2019, yep.
And what has your experience been like in New York City as a black woman since moving?
I mean,
How's it different from Ohio?
Ohio, there are the racism is not subtle, but it's like has a tinge of southernness, so it's a bit comfortable, and you just know where everything stands. I think here in New York, things feel a little bit, for me at least, on edge because there's so many people, and also, you know, like the reputation of like the NYPD and just like the police presence everywhere. It's a bit unsettling, but there's so much community here, so much life, so much black culture and history that it feels like home as soon as I stepped here.
What do you like to do here? Like, what do you like to do here?
I like to go to galleries, hang out with my friends, go to parks, go to like live performances. There's always something to do, so just trying to check everything out.
So now to go back to your experience in Ohio, what was it like for you growing up in Ohio? Is there any specific like one experience that really shaped you growing up for you?
No, it was a typical minority in a white space type thing where, you know, you were constantly policed, not necessarily by the police, but like by other people. A lot of respectability politics of, you know, presenting yourself in a certain way because you're going to stick out in a crowd. You know, you're going to be the only one there when you enter a room. But I don't know, the Midwest, we have a reputation of people being like a little nicer, but again, I think that comes with a cost that you like really have to be able to read to know what people's intentions are. And I guess something that I appreciate about here in New York is that people are like very upfront, very like you can tell right off the jump if somebody doesn't like you or if you need to like step from them. So in that way, I guess it's better because you can just read everything.
So you like it here?
Yeah, I love it here. Yeah, I'm trying to stay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Nice meeting you as well. Good luck.
So what's your name?
take by myself.
Yeah, you can take your mask off. So yeah, speak about yourself. So what's your name?
Well, my name is really Zelia, Zelia. You know, Rose Abassi. But my friends and family call me Rose because they mispronounce my name too much. You know, so I only use it in business. They call me. My name is Zelia, Zelia. They call me Delia, Zelia, Azalea. Oh my God.
Nice to meet you. And where are you from?
Jamaica, West Indies. But I have been living in America since 1963.
Oh, wow. And what has it been like? What part of the city do you live in? What part do you
Oh, now, you know, I live in Queens, you know, and 2 weeks ago, June 3rd, you know, my husband of 52 years passed away, and I laid him to rest June 18th. I'm still sad, you know, when I think of him.
How do you feel like that's affected you? Do you feel like you've been able to still keep going and like prosper in that moment?
Oh yes, because I'm a Christian person. So, you know, once you know God, you know God helps you in your mourning and your troubles, isn't it?
That's a fact.
Once you know God and do you have any problems, you know, just look to Him and He'll take care of everything.
That's a fact. And what has your experience been like as a black woman? Like, what do you feel like has shaped your core experience as a black woman growing up in New York City? I mean, well, not growing up in New York City, but being in New York City and coming from Jamaica. What do you feel like? Do you feel like there's been any one specific experience that you've never forgotten that you held on to that was like, that kind of shaped your whole experience that really made you like?
Well, you know, I have never really experienced anything major. You know, but I was just telling my friend a couple weeks ago that I am, you know, the first job, you know, that I had, the lady she was born here, you know, of Irish heritage, and I was telling her that that lady probably has never gone to a black wedding in her life, and mine was the first one that she went to. You know, that was, you know, like 50 some years ago. And I remember distinctively, she said to me, there will never be a black president in America. And I'm so sorry that she's dead to prove her wrong, you know? You know, when God says yes, nobody says no, not even the devil. So, you know, I'm sorry that she's really dead to, you know, for her not to see that a black president was in America. Yeah, but otherwise,
We're still waiting on her.
you know, to me, you know, my mom always told me that when you see trouble, just keep away from it. So, you know, whenever I see people, you know, like is indifferent to me, I just keep away. You know, but I remember distinctively when I used to work, the first job I had, there was an Italian girl. Till she wasn't born. Was she born in this country? I don't remember. And she invited everyone to her wedding except me. You know, at that time, you know, I really never thought of it. You know. Maybe she wasn't close to me. Then I realized that that is not the point. She didn't invite me to her wedding because I was black. Yeah, but it did not really matter to me because you know, I could not be friends with her anyway. You know, I choose my friends. You know, whether, you know, they be black or white. If they don't have good qualities, forget it. Not because you're black, I'm going to stick with you. No, it does not work that way. You have to have quality and character. Yeah, so her not invite me to her wedding did not mean anything to me because I could not bring her home to my home anyway, because she was not half intelligent as my family. Because my parents were, school teachers, and all my nieces and nephews, they all graduated from school. They all have degrees. I have a cousin, she lives in Maryland. She has a PhD in genetics. The one in, where does she live? Virginia or something, she has a PhD in biology. And I've got many doctors in my family, very intelligent people. So, I don't really mix myself with dregs of society. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so the color doesn't mean anything. Everyone is prejudiced. Don't get that wrong. Don't you think that black people are prejudiced? They are prejudiced too.
Yeah.
I am prejudiced, but I'm prejudiced to the individual. You have got to be intelligent. You cannot be prejudiced to a race.
Exactly.
Be intelligent to the individual. And I always tell my nieces and nephews who were born in this country, I say, you have two strikes against you. You're black, and then second, to be uneducated. And every one of them, even my daughter, they all finished college. My daughter is a social worker. Two of my nieces, they're twins. One worked at Verizon from she was 16-year-old, and when she was finished with college, she's now 40-something-year-old. They gave her a higher position. All this year, she could retire now if she wanted to, but she's too young.
Yeah.
So they all are well educated people in my family, very well. And I have a cousin who lives in Tampa. She said that she used to live in Buffalo. When she was finished with, when she was about to finish high school, they have the guidance council, and she went to the guidance council, and the white lady said to her, "What do you want to be?" So she said, "A nurse." She said, "Oh, no, can't you choose something different?" So she looked at her, she said, "What do you mean?" I think Sharon is about 60-something now, and she became a registered nurse. She, in my country, that's a black country. I mean, 99% of the people in my country are black. They're mixed. We have Indian, Chinese, black. But the majority of people are black. So they have that motto out of many one people. And my cousin Sharon became a nurse, a registered nurse, and then she was tired of it and went back to school, and she is now an immigration lawyer. So I'm a mother, a grandmother, and a great grandmother, and I talk to the young boys who hang out in the street. I said, "Good, you're also handsome," and I said, "What are you doing hanging in the street? You could be a doctor, lawyer, anything you want." They said, "Miss," I said, "Yes, you can be anything you want." I said, "Don't look. If your mother is a maid and your mother is a prostitute, you don't have to be a prostitute nor a maid, because many Jewish people that I used to buy newspapers from, who is selling on the street, their children don't do that. You talk to them. Oh, my son is a doctor, my son is a lawyer." A black person could be anything they want to be. Don't let anyone, and I always told my daughter, I told my friends, that if I ever meet a black person who wants to go to school, I would do anything on earth to try to help them to succeed. You don't have to be related to a person to be a relative. Help a child. My husband was from Liberia, and he was a very educated man. When he came here, he had already finished college in Africa, and he came here and he pursued he went to Brooklyn College. I went to Brooklyn College too. Yeah, but I did not finish. But my husband finished. He had a bachelor's in economics, and then he went to Long Island University and got a master's in banking and finance. Very educated. So his relatives are back home, and I am trying to make a scholarship in his name. Any child who wants to go to school, I will pay their tuition. He believes in education. I remember when my daughter, they was living with him, and they wouldn't go to college. He said, "Look, you can't stay in here." She said, "What do you mean, Dad? If you're not going to college, you cannot stay in here. You have to move out. If you don't go to college," he said, "with anything you want to achieve, you put your goal to it." And the first time my husband told me that when he came here, he never knew there was this prejudice business, So he said that the first job that he got was at a place called Columbia Pictures, something like that. And while he was working, my husband had an accounting, degree. He saw the black man looking into the window, and he thought something was wrong. So he went out. He said, "Why you keep staring through the window?" He said, "Oh, I have never seen a black person in the office before." So my husband said to him, "Look, you are a cleaning man. It doesn't mean anything. Your children don't have to do the same thing you do. You have, you educate your children, and their children will be better. And then their children will be better, rise. Don't ever let anybody tell you, oh, you're black, you can't achieve nothing. Bullshit. Excuse my language. No, please, not at all. My daughter, she is a social worker.
I didn't go into that.
She graduated from Yale College with the bachelor's in psychology. And her cousins, some of them have all 2 masters. I have cousins with PhD in genetics, PhD in chemistry, and I have cousins in Jamaica, brother and sister. One is a gynecologist, and the other one is a plastic surgeon. And I have lawyers in one family. You have lawyers, 2 doctors. Please, don't ever let anyone tell you that. I talk to the black children all the time. Don't listen to anybody. Do you know something? When I was growing up, I remember the mothers in my country, when the children don't listen, they say, "Oh my God, you'll never amount to anything." That's a bad thing to tell a child. You should never say that to a child. And then I came here, and the American people talking about mental abuse, and I say to my mom, God rest her soul, and she died when she was 103. My mom was a disciplinarian, and I told her that if she was living in this country, they would lock her up. She said, "Oh, lock me up, really?" Because they didn't play. Children, has got to be respectful in my country. Now, the kids are kind of, out of hand. The world has changed. They have cable TV. They watch everything, but when I was growing up, like they say, it takes a village to raise a child. If I am talking to anyone on the street and I see my mother friend coming, I dash, I run away, because they would hold me up and say, what are you doing, standing here? Go home. And we have to go home. And we couldn't say anything. Here these teachers, where the children misbehaved in school, they go home and tell the mother. The mother would come to the teacher and want to beat up the teacher. Not in my country. I was in high school and I was talking in class, and the teacher said to me, Rose, I have to talk to mother. And after the kids went, if you ever see me begging my teacher, please don't tell my mother anything. I was 16. You could ever tell a 6-year-old kid in America, they will jump you. Oh no, we couldn't do that. Everything has got to be one way. The uniform has got to be over your knees. It has to be made the same way. And no hairstyle either. No, when I was going to school, the teacher would call the child, take her in the bathroom and comb out all those curls. Yes, yep. And I just think my mom was the worst person in the world, but now I realize what a great mother she was. If you have a child and anybody complain to the kid, you have to put the person and the child side by side and say, did you do this? But many, when I was growing up, they don't ask any question. Oh, Mrs. Brown told me this, and start to, spank you with all that. That's totally wrong. You have to give the child voice.